got to do another show, and he was working with his partner Ian Allen, and they produced Button Moon. Anybody remember Button Moon on telly? Right. Well, they were busy making those puppets, so they asked me if I would take over doing Zippy. Well, I'm not going to say no to doing that because I've watched it, and so here we are, Rainbow with all the people in. So that was lovely, and I carried on doing that. Believe it or not, I did Rainbow for 20 years. It just went on, you know, it became a sort of cult program really, which was lovely for me. I mean, instead of living in a bed sitting room, I ended up buying a flat and then getting a house and then getting married and then having 2 children, now 4 grandchildren. So it worked out quite well really. Oh, right. Well then, next was Labyrinth, which was the wonderful film for Jim Henson. I had an audition and I had a beaver puppet, and I did him in an American accent. I don't know why, but I did. You know, hi there, like this, you know, and I thought, oh my goodness, I suddenly realised I'm doing this terrible fake American accent to brilliant Americans who were like, anyway, they didn't seem to mind. They said, you know, don't call us, we'll call you. Well, luckily they called me, and I was in Labyrinth, so that was one picture. And there's another one, sitting on Jared's throne, you know, who was David Bowie, of course, which was wonderful. We did meet him, he was lovely. I mean, we were what you call additional puppeteers, which meant that we were, you know, doing all the background stuff, all those goblins in the fighting, and then that lovely song with David Bowie singing, you know, Give Me the Baby, chucking the baby up, Toby frowned. Anyway, we were able to take pictures of ourselves, so I'm sitting on Jared's throne there, and at one lunchtime he came over to us, we were taking pictures, and went, all right guys, and we went, we're having talking to us. Anyway, he was lovely, really nice guy, and we, you know, he said, you're doing a great job type thing, and we thought, well, you know, you're not doing quite, you know, you're doing quite well yourself. We didn't say that, of course. But no, he was lovely, and I always thought it was nice that he got, in his obituaries, there wasn't one person, you know, they interviewed that said that he was a bit, sort of, you know, what do you call it, you know, big ego. I think he was really a nice guy, just loved chatting to people, so I thought that was really lovely. That was, you know, the things that were grabbing hold of Audrey there. Yeah, oh, it was such fun. And that was lovely. Frank Oz directed that, who was Miss Piggy and Fozzie and all those ones. And we did that in Pinewood, where all the Carry On films were made, and of course James Bond films were made. So I'm, you know, when I had breaks, I go around looking at all the other, you know, stages, and the big James Bond stage, which is huge, you know, was wonderful to see. So yeah, that was great fun to do. I did a bit of, I mean, I would like to show off. My famous bit in that was Mushnik's legs. Mushnik was the flower shop owner, and then I did the dialing of the plant dialing to get Audrey to come over from her flat at the very end of the film. And you know, there was a bit where one of the other vines picked up the phone from and somebody put the money in it, and I was the vine that dialed it. I love that, and I thought, oh, close. Anyway, 5 seconds, but I was happy. Anyway, that was Little Shop, and then I did, oh my goodness gosh, Muppet Christmas Carol, Muppet Treasure Island, all as an additional puppeteer. I mean, you do one Muppet thing, and if they like you, you get asked to do the next one, and that's what happened. So people say, oh, you were lucky. I think I was just around at the right time, you know, and they seemed to like me, which is very nice. But then, coming more up to date, I did that's Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, the series on Netflix, if anybody saw that. And I worked on that. That was me with the Skexus there. I did sort of lots of radio control stuff on that, you know. But I also did a marionette, one of the puddlings, or puddling, thank you. Puddling, I want to say. Anyway, no. And that was the string puppet one where he did a little dance in their sort of party they had. So that was, somebody took a picture of me working the puppet there. So that was nice. Muppet Christmas Carol, which was lovely. That was, I did extra additional puppets on that, but that was lovely, and it was a lovely film. It was Brian Henson's first film that, you know, his dad had died, and he took over directing the film, and but it's a lovely film. They become cult movies now. It's extraordinary. I love working on Labyrinth. It was an amazing film to work on. If you've seen that on well, you can see it on DVD and not screened, what do you call it when you, anyway, streamed, not screened, streamed, and so you can probably see it there, but the goblins on that, I mean, the work that goes into those puppets are just wonderful. I love working on Dark Crystal Age of Resistance too. That was all the radio control stuff. They've improved all that immensely nowadays, you know. I said, oh yes, I can do that, and I thought, oh my goodness, what's all these doing? It was like thinking, all sorts of extra cheats going up and down. I thought, oh my goodness. Anyway, I managed to do it. Yeah, it's a joy to work with them, because the artistry, Brian Froud, who designed most of those puppets for Dark Crystal and Labyrinth, well, designed the whole thing really, because his drawings of the shows were made from. And I mean, he's lovely, and his son is wonderful, his wife's lovely. We're doing a Labyrinth convention, I think it's in October. I can't remember where it's going to be, but we're doing a whole weekend where all the ex-Labyrinth people, you know, will wheel ourselves over there and chat to people, so that should be nice. Zippy's voice, in a sense that I'm actually speaking, and I know with Sweep it's the reed in the mouth, and I had to learn to make it sound as though, like when he says, "Where's my sausages?" it's got to sound like that. You know, people always say, "Oh, I can understand every word Sweep says," and I think, I'm really glad you can. But and you know, in the script sometimes it used to say Sweep squeaks. I mean, they're them sort of naughty, but maybe Zippy's a bit easier because I'm actually speaking. But I learned how to do the read, so. Show Sooty, Sweep and Sue, because I work with Matthew Corbett and Harry Corbett on the Sooty Show, so there he is.
And that's the actual one, isn't it?
It's an actual television used one. This was used in the 1970s when I worked with Matthew. So he's showing his age a bit. He doesn't do close-ups anymore. Sorry, Sooty. Oh, you've got a badge. What's your badge say? I love Sooty. Do you love yourself? Oh, you do love it. There he is. That's him. Then there's Sweep. Now with Sweep has a voice, of course, so I've got to find it in here. And it's a sort of reed thing. You're being very privileged. Normally you don't see any of this. Where's your sausages? I don't know. That's enough. It's nobody's birthday. No, it's all right. Don't be sad. Anyway, there he is. That's Sweep for you. And there's always friend Sooty over there. Look, he's giving you a wave, Sooty. Lovely. Right at the back there. That's right. There you are. It's your best friend. Should we show Sue now? All right. We're going to show Sue. He's giving you a And it's funny, when I was doing these, I was looking for my Sweep, because there's quite a few Sweeps around. I shouldn't tell you that. Anyway, and I thought, where's the one I always use? And they'd saved it for me because they wrapped it up in a, you know, fancy sort of wrapping paper. And at the end of the series, they gave me the puppets, which was really nice. So I treasure these. And Sue is here, because people say, oh, why don't you do Sue? I will bring her. Because it's difficult for me to do her voice, as you can tell. Actually, it's a lovely lady called Brenda Longman who's done it for 40 years. Can you believe? Here she is. Hello. No, don't. I won't even try. Hello, everybody. No, shh. There's Sue. She's giving you a nice Sue the Panda. There we are. So that's my Sooty and Sweep. And in fact, last year it was Sooty's 75th birthday, believe it or not. And so I was asked to go with, now Richard Cadell is the guy that owns Sooty now, and just goes around doing Sooty shows. And he asked me if I would appear on This Is Your Live type Sooty show we did at the Nottingham Playhouse. It was a Sunday evening, and oh gosh, it was such fun. We had such a, fun. I had Zippy and George there as well, because they appeared, when Matthew did it, because he was on Rainbow as a singer, hence I got the job to the Sooty company. But he always would come back and be a sort of guest, reading a story with Sooty and stuff. So it was really nice that Zippy and George joined in for the 75th birthday. I was there. Oh gosh, lots of other people, who were involved in the Sooty show, which was quite a fun thing. But I suppose I better show you Zippy, hadn't I? Here we go. Can you hear me all right? It's Zippy here from Rainbow. oh, lovely. All my fans, thank you very much. Yes, Zippy, shall I zip you up? No, I want to carry on talking forever. I mean, there's nobody else better than me. Anyway, there he is. There's Zippy for you. I have a paw. I didn't bring the paw up, so I call it the paw, but his hand. And I used to do it, like that. So when he was, when he got upset, that sort of thing. And that was the hand. You can imagine it. And it was 3 fingers too. So that's why I do that. And that's it. So there he is. He's still going strong. I can't believe it. I did it, as I say, for 20 years, and now Comic Cons have come around, and I'm doing, lots of those, and I'm doing a show in, Coventry, the Belgrade Theatre in Coventry, where I'm president of this British Puppet Guild, which is sort of it's the oldest puppetry organisation in the world, and we've got a special event where Sooty's, fun enough, doing his show in the afternoon for the kids. And we're doing a sort of evening show with Zippy, George. Oh, and Hacker the dog. Hacker the dog on Children's CBBS? And so he's there. He'll be along as well. So, yeah.
You can hold your own mic now.
Anyway, have I got time for questions? Sorry. If there's any questions anybody want to ask, I'll be very quick.